Hey guys, and welcome back. I've finally had enough caffeine to jumpstart me this morning. Today we're doing these. I call them button gems because I have no idea what they're actually called. I know that these are technically facets or planes of existence, whatever. But I call them button gems because they're not like diamonds or the emeralds or anything else that I do, like the big ones that I did like yesterday. Now, some of these kinds are in Gemstones Volume 4, and they're actually on the cover. Let me show you. Like this. And these were colored by Mara Lula, and she's one of my colorists, and she is amazing. Now, she took the Faceted Gems Masterclass and then translated that to this type of gem, which was just so cool. And that's why I love colorists and everybody who colors these, because they just do so many creative things. That's not what we're doing, okay? This is not what we're doing. Okay. The Faceted Gem Masterclass is like this, where you end up doing gems like these afterwards. And that's what she translated into these, which is awesome. And if you want to check out the masterclass, it's at Etsy, on my Etsy, and I'll leave you the link in the description. I'm talking about these, okay, where we're doing this type. Now, this was specifically asked for by one of my followers, Sketch Squad, and I actually had to have her explain to me what gems she was talking about because I didn't know. So that's what we're doing. So let's get started. For the pinkish one that I did, I actually only had 3 colors for the one that I did over there in my notebook. I had pink and, come back, and magenta, which is very, very dark for a pink. And I had white, I believe. Now, because this is white paper and the other one was toned gray, we might end up going with cream. I'm not real sure yet. But we'll just kind of go with it and figure it out and see how we like how it's going. So, let us begin. Oh, if you want to see these colors so that you can do like color swatches or match them up or whatever. I know some of you like to do that. I don't know why. It's cool. Pink. And then this one is magenta. It is much darker, as you can see. It's not like the very next one in the spectrum of pinks or anything. It's very, very dark. And that's our shading. And then cream is just super light yellow, and white is, I hope you all know what white looks like, because if I do it on this paper, it's not going to show up. So, alright, we've got our light source coming from over here. So, this facet is going to be basically just shining off and like super bright, and we're going to see very little shadow on it, because I feel like it's hitting, like the light comes down at an angle, and I feel like it's kind of hitting like right about here, right? Okay, so that's what we're going with, that idea of the light coming down, hitting it. Because anytime you like see these and they're like they're like being worn on people, light comes from above, and so this is like this way, so light comes from above and hits it down this. Like, that's just like how I think about these things. Anyway, moving forward. So I go down and I kind of give a little bit of color in and around here. I'm just like very, 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 very light. And then down here in this corner, I like to make it a little bit darker. If you are using a blending stump or anything like that, leave the white, and then as you blend, you'll end up getting some of that pink into the white. So just be careful so that you make sure to leave some of that light or that white. I want to make this corner a little bit darker as well, just because. Alright, and then with the light hitting it up here, it's going to kind of bounce off, and so these two facets are going to start darker up here and go lighter. I know that's weird, it's probably backwards in your head, but that's how it's going to kind of go. So we're going to have darker up here, and then go lighter. To remind myself, I'm going to try and make this a little bit darker. We're going to bring in our magenta, our darker color, much darker. Start really getting it right here. Again, I'm not using hard pressure or heavy pressure at all. It's very, very light. Same goes for this one, okay? So, light pressure and just give it an overall color. Leave some of the light over here, maybe, sorta, we'll see. And then I want it darker up here in the corner because it's not getting any direct light whatsoever. And this is just like our first layer of color basically, so don't worry about it. Like, we'll come back, we'll make it look super professional and stuff. Okay, now down here we're just going to want this one and this one to just be plain colored in, and just kind of a general overall color. Trying to get some of the edges here. Give it the same sort of feel with it being a little bit lighter over here. And this one, I just want to be this color. Very light coloring still. And then this one down here is just in complete shadow basically. And so we just want it to be our darkest little facet over here. Okay. So we're building the idea of volume and how light hits an object. That's what this is. I want to make this a little bit more solid. Like I said, we'll come back and we'll kind of change things up as we go. Maybe this is some reflected light or something down here. That's just like flashing up off of something, and that's why this corner is going to be lighter. Okay, now we've got the base colors, and you can go back and just you know, go in and just lightly color until you've gotten rid of all your white spots if you want to. For me, I generally do that because I do not like white spots. I also should probably sharpen my pencils. So I'm going to bring my pink down here. So I still want it light, I just want it to be better covered and look more finished. We're going to move to the top and have a little fun, because you will feel kind of like it's backwards idea, but that's okay. Just like here where you've got the light hitting and then you've got the dark right next to it. If we've got the light hitting here, this right here is going to be dark. I know it seems backwards, don't worry about it. So we've got dark is going to be up here. Whenever I do darks though, I prefer to put down my lighter color a little bit first. That's just me thing though. So I do like to put down my lighter color. And then down here is basically where we're going to have, I'm going to put a little bit of color around the edge. But mostly we're going to have that white, or very, very light. Remember, practicing light pressure is something you do need to do for gems, okay? I didn't realize this until lately. If you want to practice using light pressure, if you're very naturally heavy-handed in your coloring, you can sharpen your, like a Prismacolor or a color you don't use very often, to a very, very fine point, and then practice coloring without breaking that point. Okay? And that's how you'll know that you're using light pressure. I don't know if you can hear that, but I have no idea what's going on outside and why it's that loud. So, I'm sorry. So, we're doing very light pressure. And just getting some buildup of color. Alright, so we've got that light pressure here, and just going over and over, building up a little bit. Come down here and bring some of that color. And then we're going to go over it with our dark. Begin bringing in some of this dark and fading it into our pink. There's apparently a guy who's cutting sidewalk outside, and it's really loud. I'm sorry. So as long as you're using light layers, it should blend and gradient in pretty well. If you want to stop and use a blender pencil and work it in a little bit, you can. Just be sure that you're not burnishing it, and burnishing is pushing so hard that you're pushing down the tooth of the paper and you won't be able to get more layers. Okay? Wait to burnish until the very end. Okay, so as we just get a couple more layers in here, going over and over it, you can see how dark it gets, which is nice and dark, which is what we want. That contrast between darks and lights, that's what gives volume and contrast and pop to your gems. We like pop. Yep, yep, yep. So, I'm going to go down here. I want this kind of darker. I want this to be a little bit darker. Same here. And like right in here. Just like that. Ta-da! Now we have a button gem. Okay? Now, if you have a blender pencil that is hopefully not on its last legs like mine. Ta-da! Yeah, you can laugh. I do too. It's cool. Go ahead and you can blend this out a little bit so that you don't have any like little white grainy parts. Same with the top if you want to do that. If you have odorless mineral spirits that you like to blend with, I usually do. And it's up here somewhere. I just don't have a clean stump right now, clean paper stump, which is fine. This works just fine. So, if you have it like that, ta-da! Now, if you wanted to do more pink, or you did too much pink, or whatever, and you're upset, you don't feel like it's popping enough, doesn't have highlights, get your white gel pen, like for alls, okay? Okay, this is my new one, so it's like super juicy right now. And what I did for a highlight on the other one was I kind of hit it right up here, so that it was like really light. It kind of made it a gradiated highlight by doing this. And then right here, because this is supposed to be like really bright as well. But I don't want it to be like a harsh line. So I'm kind of doing that like that. Ooh, I got it over here. Oops, my bad. Just like that. If you want sparkles, I don't use this for sparkles because it's too thick for me. I don't really, like, there's no like hard lines on these other than these. And if you wanted to, you could go over all these lines with white. It would give it a totally different effect. But because the light is hitting up here, you do a sparkle here, and you just draw it out. And if you flick your pen like that, it gives a better tapered look for a better sparkle. Just like that. Ta-da! So you have a little sparkle hitting on your gem. And you could do one down here if you want to. Since the light hits down here as well. I don't think I'll make this one as big. Ta-da! So then you have little sparkles on your gem. Does it all make sense? I hope so. If you have questions or comments or show me how you did it, comment below. If you're one of my gem hoes and you're in my Facebook group, I totally want to see you do these for rolls. Like, I do. So, you should let me know how yours come out. And if you've got one that just doesn't have a whole bunch of facets for you to work on like that, that's cool. Just aim your highlight up here, you know, where your light's coming from. Remember that it washes out and away from it. So you've got the color down here, and your light's coming from up here, which means your dark will be here, just like on the top one. The top facet will be the same. Okay. This will be a really, really bad one. Okay, so you have less facets to deal with, which is fine. And then you'll have dark again down here. And then you'll have dark here, and then probably add a little bit of lighter over here, and over here. And then you have dark here, kind of like mid-tone, like a blending of them. Okay? So just remember, it's a play of lights and darks, and just like where they go, make sure you have enough contrast, because if you don't, it's not going to work as well. Make sure you have your shadows, your darkest color. It should not be right next to your lightest color. We didn't even use our cream or our white because the paper's white, so we can just use that. If you want to use a lighter color, like a cream, you totally can go in and it will give your gem a whole different look. Okay? And if you want to do that multicolor look, go for it. There are no rules. And if you don't like it, just do it again in a different color. It's not, there's no hard and fast rules, I promise. So, just do it again in a different color. Draw some out, even if they're badly drawn, it's okay. Just practice with them, get comfortable with them. And I want to see your, horrible gems. I want to see your great gems. I want to see your triumphs. I want to help you in any way I can. So, I want to see those, and I'll talk to you next time. Laters.